I'm going to start over. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I've got a pretty good article right here, a pretty good constitutional question. I think my argument makes a whole hell of a lot of sense, makes a lot more sense than the opposing argument here. I think the Trump administration and this specific executive order makes a whole hell of a lot of sense and should be the new interpretation going forward to this idea. What am I talking about? Check this out, y'all. Washington Attorney General Nick Brown sues Trump administration over birthright citizenship. Now, we've had this birthright citizenship, right? And it's common knowledge that if you're born in the United States, that you're an American citizen, right? So this has been used to create something called anchor babies, where people come into this country illegally, have a child in this country, making them a U.S. citizen, anchoring them because you don't want to separate the kid from their parents, right? Making them anchored to this country. They are stuck here now because you can't separate the kid from the family, right? So this has been used to abuse our system, to manipulate our Constitution into allowing these people to stay in this country illegally, right? And Donald Trump signed an executive order bringing that to an end. And it's going to have to go through a strenuous and robust legal process to work this out. But the argument makes sense. And I'm going to make that argument right here, right now, and the news article is going to make the argument against it. And I need you guys to let me know down in the comments which one you agree with. See if I'm convincing enough for you guys. Let's get into it, though. Washington, led by new Attorney General Nick Brown, has sued President Donald Trump and his administration over their push to end birthright citizenship. Trump, on his first day in office, issued an executive order to overturn birthright citizenship, a right recognized as enshrined in the Constitution by more than a century of legal precedent. That's not true, though. Brown's lawsuit, filed in U.S. District Court in Western Washington, and joined by Arizona, Illinois, and Oregon, argues that Trump's order is contrary to the plain terms of the Constitution, but it's not, and I'll make that argument. The president has no authority to amend the Constitution or supersede the citizenship clause grants of citizenship to individuals born in the United States, Brown writes. Brown's is one of a flurry of lawsuits to immediately challenge Trump's order on birthright citizenship. California, joined by 17 other states and the city of San Francisco, announced a lawsuit Tuesday. The American Civil Liberties Union and several immigrant rights groups, sorry about those, y'all, filed a lawsuit Monday night in federal court in New Hampshire to block the executive order. Birthright citizenship, the idea that every person born in the United States is an American citizen, dates to at least 1868, when it was spelled out in the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. In 1898, the U.S. Supreme Court affirmed the right, ruling 6-2, that a child born in the United States to Chinese immigrant parents was a U.S. citizen. Now, what that is, that was all totally correct, and I'm totally fine with all of that, right? What that Chinese immigrant was a legal migrant. Those people came here legally. They weren't illegal migrants. So having them move here legally, set up a life, blah, 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 having a child, that's a U.S. citizen, right? Those people, those Chinese immigrant parents, were actually American citizens. That's the precedent set back then. What they're doing now, like I spelled out earlier, is not what's going on. Trump's executive order issued Monday says the government will not issue documents such as passports to someone if their mother was illegally in the country and their father was not a citizen or permanent resident, or if their mother was here legally but only temporarily, like on a visa. The first line of the 14th Amendment reads, "All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subjects to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States." Now, what they're trying to base that upon is they're just going, oh, well, if you're born here, that means you're an American citizen. But what the argument actually is on the Trump side is, notice that little clause that they added in there for clarification, by the way. They didn't just add that in just to have legalese in a document, right? They don't put legalese in there just to fill up space. Those words are very, very important to what that document means. This is why we have constitutional lawyers in this country that study the Constitution to interpret the Constitution how it's supposed to be interpreted. Because notice they said, under the jurisdiction thereof, right? If somebody comes into this country illegally, they are here without the knowledge of the federal government. Technically, they are not under our jurisdiction because they are not supposed to be in this country. Now, that just throws this whole 14th Amendment argument right out the window, if you ask me, because that's plain and clear in the 14th Amendment. You have to be under our jurisdiction. Somebody who's not supposed to be here, who broke our laws to come into this country just for the purpose of having a baby so they could anchor themselves to this country and get all the rights that everybody else in this country gets. That was never intended by the 14th Amendment in 1868 when it was wrote up. That amendment was intended for slaves, for crying out loud. That was intended for these people that were born here or here permanent residents, blah, 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 under our jurisdiction so they could become citizens. That had to be written out that way specifically. But you notice that once again they threw in the under our jurisdiction. That was, once again, the people in the past had great forethought on this. This is why legalese is great, and a lot of people don't understand it because they word these things specifically for this reason. You have to be under our jurisdiction to be under the 14th Amendment. People that break our laws to get here, once again, I'll say it again, that come into this country just for the purpose of having a child to anchor themselves to this country, that's manipulating the system. I don't think that interpretation of that, these people's interpretation, is correct. Because the 14th Amendment, once again, we didn't have a criminal alien problem back in 1868. We had a slavery problem, and those people were not citizens, and they were just freed. We just fought one of the bloodiest wars in American history to get these people's citizenship, by God, to wrong the right, or to right the wrong that had taken place for a couple hundred years before that, right? So, that being said, y'all let me know what y'all think. Let's keep going, though, because there's more to this. Trump's executive order reads the line differently from more than a century of legal precedent. No, it doesn't. 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to everyone born within the United States, Trump's executive order says. The 14th Amendment has always excluded from birthright citizenship persons who were born in the United States but not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. So, they're outright admitting that they know that clause about being under our jurisdiction. So, a criminal alien is not under our jurisdiction, so that is the question that derives from this executive order. The order is part of a promised immigration crackdown from Trump, including mass deportations and other executive orders to halt refugee resettlement and declare a national emergency on the southern border. Brown's lawsuit says that in 2022, about 153,000 children, watch this, watch what they do here. 153,000 children were born in the U.S. who could be stripped of citizenship due to Trump's order, including about 4,000 in Washington. The individuals who are stripped of their United States citizenship will be rendered undocumented, subject to removal or detention, and many will be stateless. That is, citizens of no country at all, Brown writes. Despite the Constitution's guarantee of their citizenship, thousands of newborns and children will lose their ability to fully and fairly be part of American society as a citizen with all its benefits and privileges thereof. Brown on Monday night called Trump's suit of first-day executive orders gravely concerning and referred to several, including the attack on birthright citizenship, as not only unconstitutional on their face, but simply un-American. The Attorney General's office has spent the last year preparing for this day, Brown wrote. Our team has worked closely with colleagues in other states, studied Project 2025 and other documents, and researched case law in order to act swiftly. You got to love where they went with that. Oh, these children over here are going to be stateless. And that's not our fault. That's not the United States' fault that these people manipulated our system and broke our laws. That's not our fault. It's not the child's fault either. But we have to draw the line somewhere. Joe Biden has perverted our Constitution gravely, and I think that injustice needs some accountability, if you will. We need to right the ship. Are we going to have some actions taken that are very unpopular? Sure. But we need to right the ship, by God. We need to right the wrong that has been the Biden administration, and that's going to take some strict actions. Just outright. There's nothing else we can say about this. Sorry. It's not our fault. Apply for citizenship. That's all you got to do. Right? It's that simple. These people are acting like they're just going to get kicked out of the country post-haste. I'm sorry, that's just not how reality works, for one. Sure, they might be subject to being booted out of this country, but doesn't mean that they will be booted out of this country. These people have every single right to apply for a visa, apply for citizenship, go through that process, and then, hey, there you go. Now, these children have a state. They have statehood. They have citizenship and all the rights thereof, by God. I don't see nothing wrong with this. I think this is a good thing, right? All these executive orders. Donald Trump has signed a record number of executive orders trying to fix the just perversion, just the blatant evils of the Biden administration outright. And it's great, and I'm loving it. This is what we expected. And it's insane that these people are spending money to try to stop this. It's nuts, y'all. But I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. We've just had 8 inches of freaking snow here, which I know for some of you guys up in Winnipeg out there, yeah, y'all might be like, oh, that ain't nothing. Yeah. You know what? We just broke a record, by the way, which was 4 inches of snow. But you know what the previous record before that was? 0.4 inches. So, yeah, we rarely get snow up here, especially that much snow. We've never gotten that much snow, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, we broke a record. So, I'm loving it down here. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I just went off on a tangent. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.